Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now another Gran Turismo 7 update and another money glitch returns. Yep, this one has absolutely come back, and it is thanks to a friend of mine on PSN who sent me the screenshots. So yes, the Alpine does work as of update 1.25. I don't think I've actually seen any coverage of it recently, or this build, so I don't know if it's already out there. As far as I'm aware, it's not. But yes, the Alpine has returned, thankfully. And no, I cannot show you the car. That is mainly because it's not currently in the Legends, so I do not have a price for this. I don't know if it'll go up or go down or anything like that, considering the legendary prices do change. Now, just one thing to note, this is a livery we are running, and as you can see, it keeps the car with its standard wheels. I do recommend that you run the standard wheels on this car. Do not change them, because quite often, especially with the previous glitches, you could not get the performance points down, and I believe it is probably the same here. So in terms of the actual setup, this time we're actually running the racing medium. So no, we are not going to have the same kind of one lap pace we did on the softs. However, the tyres do last longer, and this actually allows us to pit less. So you're going to pop on the mediums. In terms of the body height, it's 95 at the front, and then if we go onto the rear, that's at 100. In terms of the anti-roll bar, it's going to be 5 for both. Dampening ratio compression is 35 for both. Damping ratio expansion is 45 for both. Natural frequency 4.20 for both. Negative camber angle, I have 0.5 at the front and 1.5 at the rear. Toe angle is 0.10 outwards at the front and 0.30 inwards at the rear. You can play around with these, by the way, because it doesn't affect the performance points. On the differential, we've got 5, 20 and 20. Then we have the fully customizable racing transmission installed. I've set that to 350. I've not done individual gears for this. And then in terms of this, we are actually running ballast. So we're going to run 7 on the ballast, minus 24 on the positioning. That's the one that got the PP to go from 700 to under 600. We're not going to power restrict this one. We are going to run the fully customizable ECU. In terms of the downforce at the front is 176 and then 162 at the rear. We've got the medium RPM turbocharger on this, the racing intercooler, and then as you can see here on the permamods, we have the racing crankshaft. Feel free to pause at any moment. This should work if you followed these steps. In terms of the event we're going to use, we're going to head over to Asia, go to the Tokyo Expressway, and as usual, it's the World Touring Car 600. So just go ahead and enter that. Now, in terms of this build, I highly recommend running the assist to begin with. That is because the car is absolutely wild. Obviously, you are on dry tyres in wet conditions. Around about lap 4, you can wean yourself off the assist. I do recommend the driving line, especially because this car seems to bounce around a lot more than it used to, as well as having the braking area on, just because the brakes are, not amazing. They're nothing special. Sometimes you will probably miss your braking mark without that on. Now, how does this car handle as of update 1.25? Well, in my honest opinion, it feels a lot more reactive. Now, by that, what I actually mean is the car just feels like it moves around a lot more. It feels a lot more kind of lighter, it feels a lot more squirrely, but it does still work very, very good. It doesn't quite have the one lap pace. Obviously, we're now running medium tyres instead of softs, so obviously we've lost a bit of pace there. However, it is possible to get under 2 minutes and be pretty consistent around about 2 minutes to around about 158. Especially as it begins to dry up. Now, this car is still the same in the wet. It's not great at all, but something has changed in terms of Tokyo, believe it or not. I don't know if it's intentional, but it seems to have essentially nuked the criticisms of Tokyo. Now, obviously, yes, these cars are really difficult to drive, but the penalty, which you usually got for hitting the barrier, has completely gone. So if you hit the barrier, you will find that you're not receiving penalties now, making Tokyo much, much easier, because you're not wasting 40 plus seconds of barrier hitting penalties kind of just hanging about as the penalty counts down. You can still take damage, but again, that is definitely not as bad as it was for the previous couple of updates. So in terms of this event, I like to split this one up into your survival stage from lap 1 to the beginning of lap 4. Then lap 4, you're essentially just going to keep pushing as hard as you can before doing a single pit stop and then getting underway for a little sprint. to the finish. Don't expect this car to be absolutely incredible out of the bat. You are obviously on dry tyres in wet conditions, so it's going to be a lot more sluggish. Just hang in there, follow the cars if you need to, block them, whatever you want to do. But as you're going to find out, as soon as we get on the straight, you're pretty much going to fly off. As soon as you get in that dry section of the tunnel, your tyres are going to kick in. You've got a lot more straight line speed than them. You are still able to hit over 200 miles an hour with this car. It still is insanely nippy and very good through the corners. Again, it's just a little bit more squirrely and a bit more reactive. As you can see, the power's kicked in and pretty much away we go. When you get onto lap 4, this is where you can essentially just start turning your assist down. The car, honestly, the track and the car become a lot easier to really do at this point. It's dried out enough to where the sort of dry tyres that we're using are going to work much better at this point. Now you're essentially just going to go for the long haul and keep on driving around to the later laps. In terms of fuel, you have to essentially just keep this at 1 the whole time. You could probably try and do this on a zero stopper. I wouldn't really fully recommend it. The mediums towards the end do get a bit worn at the rear, which you will see in the next clip. But yeah, just keep on pushing for now, keep it in fuel mix 1, burn some of that fuel off and just go as fast as you can really. As you can see though, by around about lap 8 we're really starting to feel a bit of a difference in those rear tyres. That's why I do recommend just running around in max fuel, because the tyres just burn out. Obviously we've had them on a long time at this point, and if it was kind of the hards, you would essentially be able to run it to the end. Sadly it's not, it's the mediums that this works with. I did try and get it on hard and it bumped itself back up to like 750. So sadly we can't get away with, you know, trying to do a zero stopper. So I recommend pitting in around about lap 8. At this point you're just going to put another set of medium tyres on, and you're essentially going to fill the car to its max, or close to. If you see where the little dot is, do not listen to that, because most of the time it's quite off. I do recommend just going it a little bit over. So what you're going to see is I'm actually going to go more towards the full side than I am kind of the midpoint, just a little bit over. But at this point, again, just keep the fuel mix at 1, start burning off the fuel and just go for a quick sprint to the finish. You will not have long left to go at this point, and it's the only single stop you need to do. Now previously this actually turned into a 2-stop on the softs. Now it's only a single stop. As you can see, we're on the final lap. We are managing to get them laps around about, 2 minutes to around about 2 minutes. But on the last lap, for some reason, we ended up doing our fastest lap yet, which was a bit surprising. It's quite rare you usually do your fastest lap on the actual last lap. But yeah, we did actually manage to do that. We're going to round the final corner and essentially just power ourselves all the way down to the finish line. As you can see, we're purple 1.5 seconds up, and we've got just enough fuel, in fact over a lap of fuel, to get us to the end. So we've overfueled just to ensure we can keep on pushing, and it's going to work out nice and easy for this one. As you can see, just over 25 minutes in the bottom left. We're going to go ahead, finish the event. So let's have a look at our overall statistics for the Alpine A220 race car as of update 1.25. So as you can see, we lapped the whole field at least once. We did a fastest lap on lap 12 of a 1 minute 58.515. Overall time was a 25.237. You can probably get it under 25 minutes with your own strategy, but that is the one I recommend. I've run it a couple of times now, and it feels, to be honest, much better than it actually did previously. So it's 825k in around about 25 minutes. One of the faster money methods currently in the game. Now, as you saw, we got a little 4-star roulette ticket there, and I thought I'd just keep this in because I was quite blown away that the roulette ticket didn't actually screw me over this time. So we did actually manage to get the jackpot, the million credits, which yeah, definitely put me in a better mood about Gran Turismo. However, look, don't rely on this roulette ticket system. It's terrible. I just thought it was a cool little bonus to say, look, sometimes you might end up hitting that jackpot. So yes, as of update 1.25, the Alpine A220 is back in the game. It is fully functional and working, and to be honest, in my honest opinion, this feels better than the last couple of versions of this car. I really wasn't a huge fan of it. I much preferred the original build when this car first appeared. Obviously it's been patched about 3 or 4, maybe even 5 times since then. But yeah, it just does not seem to want to go away, this one. It's a bit of a cockroach car. Essentially, even if you throw a nuclear bomb at it, the Alpine just seems to find a way to come back. So yeah, go ahead, try it out. Let me know what you think. If you've got any other builds to recommend, feel free to recommend them to me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn those notifications on for GT7 content each and every day. It's got Discord down in the description down below, as well as my Twitter, all that good stuff, and my sponsor for today's video. So I'll catch you later, guys. Peace.